Our first chat of the morning. Welcome. The return of Création Africa is an initiative by the French Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs in conjunction with the Embassy of France, the French Institute of South Africa, IFAS, and it's calling all entrepreneurs aged between 18 and above residing in South Africa as well as Lesotho and Malawi, where the program really invites applications for an intensive mentorship set to commence in February of 2026. The 7-week mentorship program, it's designed to refine their business models, equip them with essential tools and guidance. But perhaps to tell us a little bit more about the program, we've got program coordinator Anna Reverdy and one of the alumni from the first incubation and founder of Space Salad Studios, Thabo Tsolo. Good morning to the both of you and thank you for your time at this hour.
Good morning.
I mean, it's obvious, given the number of youth in our continent, perhaps even in the SADC region, one can see why these programs are so important. And so when we're looking at the intention as program coordinator, tell us about the conceptualization of it and at success to date as well.
Yes, sure. So I think the first intention is we saw in the world, I think it's specific to South Africa, but to the whole continent and to the whole world, that there is more and more traction around the creative and cultural industries. And as much as we see some growth in those businesses, there's still a lack of how do I make it a business? How am I a creative, but I can still make money, I can still sustain myself from being a creative. So I think the real intention comes from this, and how do you equip entrepreneurs in those industries with the tools, with the network, with the funding, with everything that you would need to build a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we're looking at the program to date and the criteria that was used for the selection process, perhaps you can walk us through those steps before we bring time into the conversation.
Sure. So the open call is up and running. It's closing next week on the 7th of December. And the criteria, so I'm not maybe going to get into the details, but the idea is to be 18 and above, to have a business that is already up and running, probably for like 2 years, a registered business in South Africa, Lesotho or Malawi. Okay. Not necessarily to have a new idea, but really to show us that you have a track record and that you now need to scale up. You need that little push or those tools that you might not have access to, and that's the program aim.
Well, then let's enter. Thabo here, thank you so much for joining us as well. I mean, so we've now heard about the intention of the program, and you're obviously part of that first incubation project. Tell us about Space Salad Studios. Tell us about how you were able to scale up and be empowered through the program as well.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me, and good morning to your viewers. So yeah, Space Salad Studios is a multi-award-winning video games company that specializes in developing video games based off social commentary. We also do gamification for events companies, agencies, as well as training simulations for like onboarding staff or training for education purposes. So our experience at Création Africa was less than remarkable. You know, they taught us a lot of the business acumen that we didn't have in the beginning, because as creatives, we don't really focus more on the business side of running your business, which is kind of ironic, because I think as creatives, when you start a creative business, all you want to do is focus on the big product, you know, like how do you make, in our case, how do you make the big hit game, you know, the one that's going to sell millions of copies, but then you don't know like how spreadsheets work, how the admin comes in, HR, those kinds of things of running a business. And I think Création Africa was really fundamental and really important in that space, where we're able to manage our funds, we managed to track our business operations, you know.
Yes, the business of showbiz, right? This is what they call it. And if we look at the program itself, how strenuous was it? How often did you have to meet? What were the commitment levels that were needed? I'm asking this because, yes, whilst you're developing your product and trying to scale up, you have to obviously maintain that and then still be incorporated into the project. Yeah.
Sure. So it was really high intensity, you know, like we had to dedicate a lot of time towards the program, because we had to split between our time and meeting up with mentors. There was also a separate course that we had to complete, you know, where it was like basically going back to school again, you know. And thank God for my team, I was able to focus on that that, dedicate most of my time on that, and then they were able to run the day-to-day business as well. And for some of the more sector-specific courses or mentorship programs that they had, at least I was able to bring one of my guys that was in part of the team to learn with me. So yeah, it was really great.
Each one teach one. So Anne, it's a 7-week program. It runs over several weeks. And perhaps you can tell us the structure of the program.
Yeah.
What really is focused and honed in on these entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so it's a bit more than 7 weeks.
Okay.
So it comes within different steps, if I can call them this way. So step 1, we're selecting a big cohort of 50 entrepreneurs. Those 50 entrepreneurs go through the 7-week mentorship, where it's really intensive on how to pitch, how to refine your pitch, how to refine your business model, but how you say it, how you show yourself to the world.
Sure.
At the end of the 7 weeks, you're pitching again in front of a jury, and then starts the big incubation, the 6 months incubation. So we're working with an incubator called Africa that has all those tools, because IFAS may not be the best to do it, so we're partnering with someone for that. And then at the end of this comes the funding, and a whole bunch of different activations with investor round tables, an immersion trip in France to connect with entrepreneurs, but also investors, potential stakeholders that those entrepreneurs, those finalists could work with.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Thabo, you're obviously a recipient of this, and it's working for you. The journey continues, as we know. But what advice would you have for people who are interested in, entering and becoming an entrepreneur, but then also scaling up and just knowing the commitment levels that comes with it? How has this program forever changed you?
So the first advice I would give is apply.
Okay, take the step. There you go. Show up.
I've spoken to a lot of my artist friends in the industry, and they're really scared to apply because they're not sure what's going to happen. Because you can never be sure what this opportunity can do for you, because there's a lot of steps and it's a rigorous vetting process that you have to go through, and also the entire accelerator program itself. It's a lot of work. So I'd say apply first, and then it's going to really change your business. We were able to learn some of the key business strategies and business applications that we're using till this day, in our business, and we're able to network as well, build like really strong foundations and partnerships with other people who are part of the alumni and outside as well. It's really given us a real big name, and you even get like a lot of exposure and publicity. I'm here today because of this program, and I'm able to show my business to the rest of the world and other people locally, so.
And operating that best practice space, which is important, right? That standard as well. And I mean, Thabo's one example. Are there any other success stories that stand out for you? Is that fair to even ask?
Yes, no, of course. And actually, it's a good day to ask the question, because I received a text yesterday that Glorina Kutso, who runs Renaissance Design, won the Fashion Essay Award for Best Textile, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We also had Tebe Magugu as part of the alumni, so obviously, amazing designer. Jimmy Muteba from Moodswing, which is an app, like an AI music app, so you can add music to some of your text messages. It recognizes your mood and adds some mood music to it. Sure. So he got also a lot of investors, got a deal with Sony Global. So there is a lot of success stories. And we're looking forward to the new ones.
Okay, so all you have to do is show up and apply, to Thabo's point. Thank you to the both of you for joining us this early and for sharing this invaluable knowledge. And Reverdy and Thabo Tsolo this morning chatting about Création Africa mentorship program, of course, just highlighting some of the success stories as well, and how one has to show up to really benefit from this program at large.